Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 20th of November. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Happy Thanksgiving week to everybody. It's a lot of people's favorite week of the year. If you're not working today and you're still listening to ZASLOW Show 2.0, I appreciate that. If you are working, I hope it's just a couple days this week, and then you wind up being able to get to your holiday week as we march toward Thursday, as we march toward Friday, first ever NFL Black Friday game, which features the Miami Dolphins. So glad to have you here with us, and of course, with everything going on, the holiday season off and rolling, the NFL's in full stride, NBA and NHL hitting their mid-season form. BetOnline is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, up-to-the-minute sports wagering news, odds, trends, predictions. BetOnline is the top spot for everything pro and amateur sports, and not just the Big Four. BetOnline has info available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time for almost any sport that's played. From MMA to international soccer, head to BetOnline today. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, we got a lot to hit on today. Dolphins win yesterday. Dolphins win 20-13. They improved to 7-3. They are 7-3 for the second consecutive season. Before last year, it had been, I think, over 20 years, just about 20 years, where the last time the Dolphins started a year 7-3. Although at this point, start a year, like, we're past the midway point of the season. It's not the start. But now, back-to-back 7-3 seasons. So, yesterday, Dolphins win. We got the Panthers from over the weekend to keep an eye on. They play again tonight. The Heat over the weekend. They play again tonight. And, of course, every Monday, presented by Brunt Insurance, we have our NFL rundown, our Week 11 NFL rundown, as the week finishes tonight, Monday Night Football. Chiefs, Eagles, huge Monday Night Football game. If we were doing big game or not a big game today, I'll give you a spoiler word. That would be a big game. So tonight, a game that the Dolphin fan is also interested in because we need the Eagles to win. The Dolphins, they're a game back of Kansas City. They don't own the tiebreak, so we need a Chiefs loss here. But most importantly, we want to keep up with Baltimore. We're eyeing that number 2 seed. That's our goal here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. We're eyeing that number 2 seed in the AFC. The Dolphins are even in the loss column with the Ravens. We're trying to get to that Week 17 game in Baltimore with a chance to grab that number 2 spot and 2 home games in the AFC playoffs. So that's what we're looking at right now. Yesterday, I was at the Dolphin game yesterday. That's right. Made my first appearance at the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. Dolphins Raiders yesterday. I said, you know what? So we had another Johnny Cuba tailgate. All right, Johnny Cuba, Are You Hungry Grill. My man Raul was cooking it up. I mean, oh my God, the food at Are You Hungry Grill is so good. Burgers, oh, I love it so much. And you had the Johnny Cuba. We're getting the beers going. I sat down with my man Andre, States on Gilo podcast. We talked some Dolphin football, a little bit of Heat. We did a live broadcast, live tape of their podcast right there with Johnny Cuba right next to Are You Hungry Grill. So shout out to everybody. Raul cooking up the food, Anastasia and Willie with the beers, for Johnny Cuba, my man Juan, of course, from Johnny Cuba as well. So really fun time. We went out there for the tailgate. Tailgates are wild, man. Tailgates, these Dolphins games are wild. We like their DJs and everything. You got the tent. You got everybody dancing. Buddy in the DJ booth. And to Michael, because it's Sunday, goes, this is our church. I'm like, all right. So, different kind of church than I expect. But so much dancing, bumping and the grinding. The girls are looking really good. Well, what can I say? You got hoochies all over the place. And we had a great time. And so I didn't have tickets yet. But I'm like, look, I'm Ticket Ninja. You know how it works. So I'm monitoring the tickets, and at about 12:20, 12:30, finally made that move. Now, it was still expensive, but we got ourselves some club seats, me and my buddy. We got club seats on the goal line, And yeah, so first Dolphin game of the season. Shout out to Anidjar and Levine. Mark Anidjar, Ellie Anidjar stopped by, said hello to them. Title sponsors of ZASLOW Show 2.0. Went into their sweet, amazing spread. Oh my God, you're kidding me. So went in, said hello to those guys. Really great time yesterday at the game. And it's funny. I'm taking my son to Monday Night Football, which is the next home game, Dolphins and Titans. So this week they're in New York, then they're at Washington, and then they're back home for Monday Night Football against Titans. They're gonna fuck them up. And yes, I did say that the Dolphins were going to murder the Raiders yesterday. That obviously wasn't the case. We'll get to that in a second. But here's the thing. I like going to games once in a while. Like yesterday, I had a really good time. I did. But it's such a different experience. Number one, the people who go to every game and you do all the tailgating, I don't know how you have the energy. I don't. But am I the only one who feels this way? I have a hard time following everything from the game when I'm at the game. Like, I get home and I want to read a little bit more. I want to check the stats and all that stuff to get a better feel for the game. You know what I'm saying? And like, now luckily, our seats were by the Dolphin locker room, so we were able to see when Devon Achane left. We were able to see when Tyreek Hill left. But a lot of times you're at the game, yep, I don't want to be on my phone and checking things. You don't know if a guy got hurt. You don't know what's happening in some instances. I have a hard time not following the game. I have a hard time digesting everything that took place at the game, or, during the game when I went to the game. Am I the only one who feels that way? Going to the games are great, but I'll go to a couple a year, and then it's like, I'm good watching the rest of the games at home. I get a much better feel for the game when I'm watching on the couch in the Zaslow Mansion family room. I can't be the only one who feels that way. Anyway, so a couple other things before we get into the meat of the Dolphins. Want to mention as well, ESPN Radio tonight, Amber and Ian, 7 to 10 p.m. I'm hosting again with your girl, top girl, Amber Wilson. So I will be in tonight for Ian Fitzsimmons, 7 to 10 p.m. locally, ESPN 106.3 FM, West Palm. But of course, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80, and on the ESPN app. Tonight, 7 to 10 p.m., Amber and Ian, I'll be filling in tonight. I'll be hosting with Amber Wilson. I'm looking forward to that. Did the show with her a few days ago on Thursday. Done a bunch of shows there. I'm great. Look, Thanksgiving week, you talk about the things you're thankful for. I'm thankful ESPN has used me a lot, and I'm especially thankful that they're using me with my girl Amber Wilson there. So tune in tonight, 7 to 10 p.m. Also, it's Thanksgiving weekend, right? Or Thanksgiving week. My son and I, on Saturday afternoon, we went to the movies. We saw the movie Thanksgiving. And we went into the movie. It's a horror movie. Went into the movie having no idea what this movie's about. Didn't have a clue. And I recommend it. Movie was fun. It's a slasher film. And not scary. It's not scary. It's got some parts that are violent, like a little bit gory. But there's a tone to the movie where it's not scary at all. It's like a teenage slasher film. And you know what it's like? It's very similar to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Same theme. You remember that? Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., like, what are we talking, like 25 years ago, right? The I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. Very similar to that. So I recommend it. Like I said, not scary. It's got a very, it's got that that Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer teenage vibe to it. I recommend seeing it. A couple of parts, oh my God, it's so gross. But anyway, that was a fun movie. We went and saw Thanksgiving this weekend. That's a little bit of a movie recommendation for you. All right, so let's get to the Dolphins. And here's what I got for you. I don't care that the game was tight. I know a lot of people, are the Dolphins Super Bowl contenders? They can't beat the good teams. And although can't beat the good teams, Denver keeps winning. They're now 5-5. They beat the Vikings, who are good. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Bills. Dolphins put a 70 burger on them. But keep talking about how the Dolphins aren't any good and they can't beat good teams. Anyway, Dolphins can't beat good teams. And then against the Raiders, they barely win. Nobody's going to mention. Now, I don't even think this is necessarily something that should be mentioned because I don't think the Raiders are any good. But nobody's going to mention the Raiders. They were 2-0 under Antonio Pierce going into this game. And they played the Dolphins well, obviously. And the Dolphins still managed to win. And matter of fact, that Raider defense is actually really good. And they had not given up a 300-yard passer this season until Tua yesterday carved them up for 335, I think is what Tua had. And you know what? Tua did not have a good game. He was a little bit off. Couple throws were a little bit off. Obviously, the fumble, terrible. I don't know why. So this is first series of the game where Tua fumbles, and the Dolphins took their sweet old time getting into the huddle, then getting to the line of scrimmage, and then the Raiders challenge. And the challenge could have went either way. It was really close, but they win the challenge. I had no problem with that. Like, you definitely could see, yeah, it was probably a fumble. Why did the Dolphins rush to the line? Why did they allow the Raiders all that time there? And so I almost thought, all right, Tua must know that he was down, because why wouldn't he rush to the line there? Like, he must know that his knee or his elbow were down, so he doesn't need to hurry. Let them challenge. They're going to lose it. So I didn't understand what was happening there. But anyway, and Tyreek Hill, oh my, he is unbelievable. That first touchdown that he had, he's in triple coverage. They're all surrounding him. He runs by them so easily. He is incredible. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But when Tyreek Hill got hurt, what I also liked seeing, when Tyreek Hill got hurt, Jalen Waddle reminds you, as long as Tyreek Hill's injury is not going to keep him out for any amount of time, it's like, all right, number one, soft schedule the next few weeks. But also, how about Jalen Waddle, when Tyreek Hill was in the locker room, reminding everyone, yeah, I'm a number one receiver. He had 3 catches while Tyreek Hill was out. All 3 of them were for first downs. It was 3 for 36 yards. All 3 of them resulted in first downs. He's a number one wide receiver also, so he reminded everybody of that. I guess it would have been nice if Hill had to miss some time. If Chase Claypool were active yesterday, he was not. Whatever, maybe he'll be active next week. And Devon Achane, 1 carry, already gets hurt. I don't know how much you can rely on Achane now this year. He was hurt in the beginning of the year, right? Then he played, he was awesome. Hurt again, injured reserve, 1 carry, hurt again. Now, luckily, Mostert is good enough to carry the load himself. I don't know that you can count on Achane the rest of this year. I don't know if you can. So that was obviously disappointing. But this Dolphin offense, that Raider defense has been really good all year. And Tua is the first passer to throw for over 300 yards against them. But here's the thing. I don't care that yesterday's game was tight. I feel good about that Dolphin win yesterday. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, win's a win. Hard to win in the NFL. No. I feel good about that win yesterday. I feel good about that win yesterday the same way that I didn't feel bad about the Kansas City loss. Because after that Kansas City game and after the game yesterday, why don't I feel bad? Why do I actually feel good? The defense. The defense. And this is not a small thing. So after the Kansas City game, the way the defense played, I'm like, all right, they're going to go on the bye and they're going to get back. And then by December, they're going to be a better team than they were at the start of the year because of the defense. Yesterday, the Dolphin offense, which we know the Dolphin offense is great. We don't need any more confirmation about that. Did they have a great day yesterday? No. And mainly because of the turnovers. But we don't need any more confirmation about this Dolphin offense. The Dolphin defense, you need confirmation. And they were awesome yesterday. The Dolphins are a better team right now than they were at the start of the season. So I'm not even looking at it yesterday, oh, a win's a win. You'll take it however you can get in the NFL. No, I'm looking at it because this defense is what's going to be the difference in the Dolphins winning games late in the season. Who knows? As far as cold weather games, I mean, I guess at Baltimore could be cold in week 17. Maybe you get to the playoffs in the divisional round, or hopefully better yet, the AFC Championship. Maybe you're playing in a cold weather game. Maybe it's a snow game. This defense is going to have to carry the team in a situation like that. The offense is not going to be there every week. Maybe Tua has a bad game. Maybe you're playing a great defense. But this Dolphin defense now is doing exactly what you hoped it would. And Jalen Ramsey, he's the best player on the field on that side of the football. 2 interceptions, both of them amazing interceptions. And I knew he was fine on that last play. Like, it took some juice out of the game-winning play, where he gets the interception, the crowd's super excited, but real quick, no more celebrating because Jalen Ramsey's on the ground. That's where my seats were. It was so obvious he landed on the football and knocked the wind out of him, especially when McDaniel ran over to him. He was there for like 30 seconds, and then he walked back. It's like, all right, he's clearly okay. McDaniel's walking back and doesn't seem very concerned at all. So I told my buddy, instead of us leaving, I was like, no, let's wait, because you're going to get the big moment where he stands up, and then the crowd's going to cheer because they won the game. And that's exactly what happened. Got up. He's egging the crowd on. He's skipping over to the sideline, and everybody's cheering because they just won the game. Jalen Ramsey is the best player on that side of the ball. He is so much fun to watch. I mean, the way he got up, both interceptions were really difficult, and obviously saving the game on the last one. But I don't look at yesterday and say, win's a win, I'll take it. No, I look at yesterday, I'm like, yeah, that's a great win because, A, it's a Raider team that was feeling themselves a little bit going into the game, 2-0 without Josh McDaniels. They hate his guts. But most importantly, we know about the Dolphins' offense. We know how good their offense is. The defense is where the question marks are. And between Jalen Ramsey and Javon Holland, and Jerome Baker had a good game yesterday, and Jalen Phillips and Christian Wilkins, who were fantastic yesterday. This Dolphin defense is for real. And, I mean, wait to see what they do this Friday, man. I guess the Jets are going to go with the backup quarterback. But, you know, the Dolphin offense, if they play like this against the Jets, how many points do you think the Jets are going to score? I mean, the Dolphin offense can have a bad offensive game, essentially, like yesterday, and only score 20. You think the Jets are scoring 20 points on Friday? And by the way, I like that the game is in New York. I feel like there's so much more pressure on the Jets going back home after that pathetic performance yesterday in Buffalo. I think the Jets will be better off with this game in Miami this week. But going to New York, I mean, they're going to be waiting to boo everything. I think there's so much more pressure on the Jets going home for this next game against the Dolphins. Dolphins are going to kick their ass. I mean, how many points did the Jets score this week? Can they 10? Maybe 13? Like, that seems like a hell of a lot of points. 13? So, I'm not worried about the Dolphin offense. But yesterday, that Dolphin defense, I feel really good about the Dolphins moving forward. Shoot, the Dolphin defense, the last 3 games, which is when we've started to see the turnaround, right? The Dolphins defense, and look, you got to consider the competition, all right? But the last 3 weeks, the Dolphins have given up, and I'm not talking about special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown. I'm talking about what the Dolphins defense has given up, all right? Dolphins defense against the last 3 opponents, Patriots, Chiefs, Raiders, have given up 10 points, 14 points, 13 points. Defense is clicking, man. Defense looks awesome. This now, the beginning of the year, when the Dolphins are flying around the field and the defense sucks, that's not a Super Bowl team. A team that can do it on both sides of the football. That's a Super Bowl team. And even though yesterday was close, the Dolphins look like a Super Bowl team now because of what they're able to do on both sides of the ball. I'm into it. So that's my general thoughts on the Dolphins yesterday. I know some people may be like, I didn't love it. They should have killed the Raiders. I thought they were going to kill the Raiders. I mean, I think I said 42-17. I think the Dolphins are going to win. But I think I probably feel better about the way they won yesterday. Winning close games is important, showing you could win in tight spots, and the way the defense really carried them yesterday. So I feel really good about that game.